welcome to the Team Lawson channel. I'm Teresa.
I'm Mike.
And we're millennials and we're making it. On our channel, we discuss all things that meet within the intersection of millennial marriage and special needs parenting.
We want to create a community that's both inclusive and encouraging.
So if you'd like, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can help us reach our goal of making it to 1,000 subscribers.
And so you can also let the algorithm know that you think we're awesome.
So we're going to talk about houses and the fact that we're never buying another house again. I mean, never say never, but we don't want one. We're going to talk about why. Because, first of all, overall, would you say that you enjoy living in your own house?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to say you have one.
I think that's what it is. It's nice to say you have one.
It's nice to say you have one.
But
before you go into further, disclaimer: I am not discouraged. We are not discouraged. Well, we are not discouraging people from buying houses.
But we are encouraging people to weigh the pros and the cons.
Weigh your pros and your cons. Make sure that you're in a situation to where you can do that.
When we were thinking about getting a house, I was the driving force. I will admit that. I was like, gotta have a house, gotta have a house, gotta have a house. Did you ever think that you would not enjoy having a house? I
wouldn't say no.
I feel like you're so much higher than me right now.
I'm taller than I'm supposed to be.
You're not that much taller than me, though.
I'm 6 foot and you're 5.
You're not 6 foot.
I am.
You're 5'11".
I'm not.
You're not 6 foot.
I work with people 5'11". I'm not.
They're not 5'11". Men be lying about their height.
Okay. Anyway, that's still close to 6 foot. Close enough. So anyway, what was I saying before I was into it?
What did I ask you? Did you think that? Was it ever conceivable for you that you would not enjoy owning a home?
No, but me, I was cautious with buying a home. I mean, that's the way. That's how I was thinking going into it. I just, because that's a big responsibility. That's what was on my mind. I was thinking of, did I want the responsibility or not?
I never thought about the responsibility of owning a home. But I did always think that once we were able to afford it, owning your own home would be a better option than renting. But there were lots of things that honestly I couldn't have considered that go into me not really wanting a home. So I guess we'll start talking about why owning a home may not be the best option for our family right now, and we're totally okay with that.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be mad at that.
So first thing.
It's expensive.
Yeah. Even if you can afford it, it's expensive, and a lot of the times we don't want to put that expense towards a house. I feel like there are other, and not just now things to buy, like not just to have extra money in your pocket, but like there are other things that we would like to put our money towards that owning a home and maintaining it just keeps us from doing that. Like we would like to start a trust for Macy, right?
Yeah.
Like so that in the event that she grows up and is unable to care for herself and her finances, that the people who are able to care for her have the money to do that, and they're not, coming out of their pocket. Because honestly, who was that?
Spam. Honestly,
like, do we feel like if something were to happen to us, or when we are, even if like old ages were happening to us and we're going, do we feel like there are people who would step up and make sure that Macy is okay, or there are programs in the government that would make sure she is okay? Yeah, I think we have that trust, but we wouldn't have to put trust in that if we were able to set up money towards that, right?
Yeah. My only issue, I don't want to spend 30 years. I know they got lower years, that you can apply for, but the payments get higher the lower you go. I don't want to be 60 something years old, 70 something years old,
Paying off
and I
the
finally
house.
get to enjoy my house, and I'm almost out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just.
And people, honestly, people don't stay in houses that long. What people end up doing is using their first home as a leverage to buy the second one. And since we don't want a second one, like people don't buy a house, pay for it for 15 to 30 years, and die in that house. Just generally not what people do.
They got some people that do it. Not all. I get what
Few
you're
and far
saying though,
between.
but they
Most
got some who
people,
do.
what people are doing is they buy the house that they can afford at first. They're not buying their dream home, or they're not buying a super expensive home. They buy a start house, and then they use the equity in that home to leverage buying a house that they want in the future. They pay the equity to 50,000, 100,000, so they can buy a more expensive home and get another 30-year note. The hope is that you can do a 15-year mortgage in because you're making more money or whatever, or you buy a home that's not quite as expensive as that doesn't eat up all of the equity in the sale of your home, so that you can do the 15-year mortgage and it not be. But if you don't want another house, then what is the appeal of having that? You know what I mean? Like, if your goal is, not to use the home to leverage another home because you don't want another home, then having the first home really is pointless. Especially if it's not your desire. Like, what really is the benefit of spending 30 years to pay off a house? So you can have mortgage free in your retirement. Well, people aren't mortgage free in their retirement anymore. Like, that is ideal, but I don't think that is feasible for generation millennial on a X. And well, maybe generation X can do it. Most of them aren't, though, because they're crippled with college debt, right? And so, like, if you're not going to be able to pay it off in 30 years and be mortgage free in retirement, and you're not going to leverage it for the second home, like, what is the point?
Well, that's more than Generation X. That's people before them too.
That's boomers. Boomers are paying off their house. Mom and daddy paid off their
I ain't
house.
talking about paying off houses. I'm
What?
talking about college debt.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay,
I mean, honestly, boomers don't have a hope. Like, I guess it depends on which part of the boomer range you're in. Like, boomer stops at what, 50 something? Boomers don't have college debt. They may have some. There may be some that have some college debt, but like, as a generation, they're not straddled with it. Like, there aren't a whole bunch of 60-year-olds walking around with $50,000 college debt. I'm sure there are some. You don't have to comment below. We know you exist. But as a generation, if you went to college as a millennial, for the most part, I think the average is 30-something thousand in college debt. I never had that much.
I don't know.
But that's the average.
I ain't have it at all.
And so there are people we know people with $100,000 plus college debt, got kids and a mortgage, and we know a couple people. You don't know that you know, but we know. I know, a couple families that, and not just, and like, if they both went, yes. That's like $50,000 of college debt is nothing. Like, that's a drop in the bucket for most people. That is not what I ended up having, thank the Lord. But, and so if you're factoring into those things in the expense of buying a home, like, what's the point? Like, I'm either going to be paying a mortgage till I die or rent until I die. And it's not just a mortgage with the house. You think about all the extra expenses that we had to add on because we have a house. Like, before, we just had electric bill. Now we have electric and cable and, not cable, but internet and water and sewerage and trash. And, there are those added expenses. And then we can go talk about this now. The maintenance. Not only is it a lot to do, but it's expensive. Like, Like just making sure that, because you don't want to just buy a home, like you want to be able to maintain it and keep it so that if you go to sell it, it's worth something, or so you can live in it and the roof not be falling in on your head. That'd be nice. And so
Yeah.
homeowners insurance and flood insurance, because if you live in Louisiana and you do not have flood insurance, you need to go get some. Because literally a few weeks ago, quarter mile up the street, neighborhood flooded. A quarter mile this way, neighborhood flooded. Interstate shut down. And so those are some protection, and it costs. And do we want to spend money on that? If we have a home, we have to. We don't want our home to be falling around us or living with the risk of not being able to replace or repair a home if it's damaged, but we'd rather not have that. We'd just rather not have that. We'd rather be somebody else's issue to deal with.
And this brings us to our next topic. It's a lot to maintain.
Yes, it is a lot. We have alarms in our phones about filters and payments for this, and first of all, our square footage increased by 3 times. We had about a 700, almost 800 foot square apartment. And that increased to, no, not 3 times. Our house is about 1,600 square feet. Is it? Yeah, 1598, 89, something like that. So about 1,600 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. We actually had 3 bedrooms, 2 baths in our the townhouse that we rented, but the square footage was a lot smaller. So just the physical efforts of cleaning it up takes 2.5 times as much, right? And then, 2 times as much, and then the all of the components of the house are us. So either you have homeowner's warranty, which I feel like is an amazing waste of money. Like, I don't know of maybe there are probably multiple homeowners insurance companies, but the one we were with, I was just kind of like, we can't use you, and we keep paying out of pocket for things because we're going to maintain our house. Why are we paying you? And so if you drive that expense, or if you have one that you can't use like we did, you're paying for things out of pocket, which goes back to expense. But then the physical effort of finding a contractor and or doing it yourself. Dear Lord, we put in maybe like 3 square foot of hard thing. 3 square foot of hardwood floor. We did an actually pretty good job. It needs to be restained so the color will match.
That whole floor need to be ripped up.
Yeah, and that's what we came into the conclusion of. This 3-inch old fashioned hardwood ain't worth it. Like, let's just rip it all up and have somebody put in something cheaper and more sustainable. But
I want to redo everything. The room floor, Macy's room floor.
Macy's carpet in her room is good. Like, that doesn't need to be redone. It's brand new. It's not even that was brand new carpet. It's not even 2 years old.
Kind of hardwood up there.
I won't build as basic before we sell.
Well, I want hardwood in the living room.
And I think the frustrating thing is we have a house with really good bones. Like, our house is an older home, but it was maintained well. We got it in a pretty good condition. And so there's not a lot that has to be done to it. We have we pay somebody to come and maintain our heating and air conditioning system twice a year, something you really need to do if you want to be cool in the summertime and hot in winter. But like, we have, I like the spoons. Remember I told you about the spoons? Did I tell you about the spoons?
No.
So I ran across this infographic about managing your energy with the idea of spoons. Like, you only have so many spools of energy throughout the day. And everything that you do is worth a certain amount of spoons. So getting up out of the bed is worth a spoon. Getting dressed is worth a spoon. Driving to work is 2 spoons. Actually working is 3 spoons. If you have 10 spoons, and cleaning up your house and finding somebody to come fix this. It's 4 spoons in that day. That's less spoons that you have to take care of all the other stuff that you need to do. I have a 5-spoon child. Every day that I spend with my lovely baby is 5 whole spoons of energy. I don't want to devote 2 or 3 spoons to cleaning up the upstairs, downstairs bathroom and polishing the hardwood floor. I want the hardwood floors to be shining, but I don't want to have to do it. And so, like, is owning a home something and maintaining a home something that's not easy to do, but are we able to do it? Sure, but I don't want to devote that energy to it. It is literally, and I said this before, people like, oh, it's like another child. It is like another child that technically we have a babysitter for. It's called a lawn sister. Even when we're not here, we're thinking about the house.
Which brings us to our next topic.
What?
Because she's touching on them
What?
so quickly.
What?
We don't want the homeowner's lifestyle.
We don't. We like the renter's lifestyle. The sink is broken. Well, call the landlord. They can deal with their property.
I think my only issue with renting, though.
What?
They can raise the price when they want to, and I didn't. With our last situation, I didn't appreciate that.
Our mortgage is not the same thing as it was last year.
I know, but I get that, but I'm saying our stuff got raised because of a flood that didn't even affect them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so.
Well, they had to get the insurance because it almost did. The back parking lot flood, and I'm sure they're first of all. Like, all of our insurance premiums increase. I expected for the car and the house and not the house, because the house, we just renewed for the house. That was before this recent flood. And so, thankfully, for this year, at least, we can expect our homeowners and our flood insurance not to increase. But in September, when our car insurance renewed, I can guarantee it's going up $40. All these cars that were lost in this area, because it's based on the risk for the area during that period. And literally everybody in this apartment complex on the street lost their car. Yeah, so.
You no lost cars over there?
Huh? They were underwater. The entire first floor was underwater.
I should have drove my car over there.
That's insurance fraud. And so, no. I'm
not serious.
Yeah. But and then having something else to worry about. Like when we went on vacation, we were staying in an apartment. We didn't think nothing about.
What apartment we stayed in on vacation?
No, when we did go on vacation, when we stayed in an apartment, or even when we went out of town. We'll say we didn't go on vacation. When we went out of town, we didn't worry. When we went to Tennessee.
Oh, Nashville.
Yeah.
I think those. Yeah, kind of. I thought it was hotels to me, but it did have an apartment feel to it. I got you.
No. I'm talking about when we went on vacation and we left our apartment. We didn't worry about our apartment when it left.
Oh, no. I'm thinking you saying
you got renter's insurance. Everything that you own in the apartment is going to be fine. If the building burned down, that's not your building to worry about, right?
Yeah, I got you.
But when we leave our house, we were gone for 10 whole days. I was actually we set the alarm. I think my biggest concern was something happening and I have to come back because it's my property. We own this. So if the alarm starts going off and they can't get it shut down, or if somebody breaks in, or if there's a flood or a fire,
you got insurance for still.
No, but you still got to come back and see about your house.
Okay.
Because when you call the insurance is going to be, so what is, I don't know, I'm not there. Well, call us when you get to the house.
Okay, and we just call them and get to the house.
And I don't want to have to leave my vacation to do that. And we would need to
I'm not leaving no vacation.
Right. And so the responsible thing to do would be to leave the vacation and come see about your house. But I don't want to do that, which is why we don't.
Close the door behind you. I'll get with you when I come back. What you?
And we're not generally irresponsible people, but I think with what we have to be responsible for, I don't want to give that to an inanimate object that is this home.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm saying like we're saying the same thing.
I know. Yeah, I'm saying if Tom done broke in and took what he gonna take, what you rushing home gonna do? Get it back? I'm not leaving.
I appreciate what you're saying, but like that is not the appropriate course of action.
I respect
the
that.
appropriate course of action would be
to
for
come
you.
home to see about your house.
Right.
Officer, close the door. See you when I get back.
So, and this is part of the reason why, like, but I think part of the reason behind that is not that we're irresponsible people. Like, this was the first vacation that we took with just us since when? We went to Houston a couple years ago. I think it was the first year our friends had moved out to Houston, so it's probably been like 3 or 4 years at this point. But like, and so for what I want to come back for a house, an inanimate object, like it can burn to the ground. I'm on vacation. We got insurance, like literally, like, but like, is that the best attitude to have toward home ownership? No, you should be more responsible. And honestly, I think the only way that I would want to own in the future, if I ever owned a home again, it would not just to be owning it to live in it. It would be owning it and owning multiple properties to make money from. Maybe owning a duplex and renting out the other side, or, you know what I mean? Owning a small apartment like, I would do that because I could hire somebody to manage it. Because I don't want to manage it.
Again, for the final time, which brings us to our next topic that Teresa's running into him.
What?
I don't think there is much financial benefit to owning a home as usually discussed.
I don't think there is. People talk about like investment for the future. Our future is our child who, if she is not capable of managing her own finances, like somebody else is going to be doing it. And so she's probably not, if that's the case, she's not going to be living on her own. She's going to be living with somebody else. Or could they sell the home and use that and put it in a trust? Or we could just not pay mortgage and put it in a trust. That will probably work out cheaper and giving her more money in the long run, because we're able to earn interest on that now instead of with the sale of a home after we're dead and minus the closing costs and what's left on. You know what I mean?
Y'all heard this woman just said.
What?
Don't pay your mortgage and put it in trust. We're going to be homeless with money.
No, I'm just saying, like, instead of paying mortgage and all the other stuff that goes in buying a house, pay rent. Which is because of all the other things that you would have to pay. People always say buying a house is paying mortgage is cheaper than paying rent. Not really. It's about what these days. And honestly,
really, it depends on where you stay too. It depends on the area.
Could we buy a home? Well, let's look at us in a microcosm. Could we buy a home that is cheaper than rent that we would pay? Yeah, but we wouldn't want to live there. Exactly. And if that's the case, then no.
That's why I say it depends on location.
Right. And so, like, and then if you have $150,000 and student loan debt, like, how is buying $150,000 house going to help you right now? Like, and that's not our situation, but I do have some debt. And before it's paid off, like, if buying a house does not end up being financially cheaper, then it would make more sense for me not to have more things that I'm paying interest on. Even though the interest for our house is really great. Like, it doesn't even make sense for us to refinance, even though the rates are pretty low now. But I just don't think that Generation Millennial, Z, Generation Alpha, unless something drastically changed between now and the time Alpha is Macy's generation. It starts in 2000, I think. By the time, what?
Who come up with this stuff? I want y'all to put
Generationologists.
I want y'all to put this in the comments
That's
section.
a Google search. You can.
No,
Google
it ain't
that.
no Google search. No. I
You
want to
can-
know
no.
who is coming up with this Generation A through Z.
You can Google it.
Generation Dragon
You
Ball
can Google
Z.
it. You can Google
I
it.
don't, I don't get it.
Anyway,
I don't
so
understand.
like unless something drastically changed with the way college is taken up, the way home loans are done, unless something drastically changed between now, what?
Okay.
That's my alarm on my phone.
Oh, okay. Make sure I wasn't tripping.
Unless something drastically changed from now to then, like I feel like it would be less worth it for Generation Alpha to buy homes than it is for us. And I don't think millennials and the Generation Z is even worried about buying houses or going to college. They're like, forget all y'all in this whole system. And I don't blame them. Like, seeing the stress that the generation before them goes on, like, I absolutely do not blame them. Absolutely not. A lot of Generation Z parents are technically millennials, right? And so they're watching their millennial parents go through something like, no, I don't want to do that. And I totally get it. Because, like, what is the reward? If you are saddled with debt, what is the reward for owning a home? When you die, your kids are just going to sell the house to pay your debt, and then they're back at zero. Like, what's the point?
You know what I'm saying? Because Generation A squared plus B squared equals C squared, bro. They watching Generation Z.
Can we stop? The joke died. The joke is dead.
Okay.
Please
All right,
stop.
cool. Oh, man.
But like, and I think at a certain point in our, what are you doing?
Man, come on.
I think at a certain point in our life, like I said, I foresee in the future us having the income. I think the income threshold of being able to afford a house comfortably is still not high enough for you to be able to afford the house and it to be financial benefit for you. And so I think there would, like, literally, until I can own a home, own multiple properties, rent them out, and have someone manage them, like, it's not worth it to me. I don't want to have to manage them. But like, the only way to really get some benefit from it is to have a rental property, because equity alone isn't going to do it. What do you think? What do you feel about like being property managers?
I mean, I don't know.
And like, even like, I don't know if I still want to do that. Go ahead. I'm asking you now. What do you feel about being property managers?
I don't care too much for it either. I don't. It's a headache to me. Sometimes it's a headache.
Because you would go from, though you would increase what you would get, you go from managing your house to managing multiple households. Or paying somebody to do it.
I don't want something to break and I have to pay somebody to do it.
No, I won't. No. I want somebody. I don't want them to call me. I want them to call the property manager and have them do it. But you still have to manage the property. I don't know. I don't know that for me, like, there would ever be a real life scenario where I would like want to own a home again. And we have if you were going to be in our income bracket and purchase a home, we're probably in the most ideal situation. I would like to have maybe another $500 a month coming in, just so we can put an extra $500 a month in savings account. Not because we need that to make ends meet, but like the loan is good, the house is good, we're able to do what we need to do.
I think if I came into some money, I would like millions maybe. I would probably.
What you call it to millions?
I mean, it could happen.
Okay.
I would get another home, but cause I had the money to.
Right.
I'm not going out and live in Beverly Hills or Malibu or nothing like that. I'm not finna get no mansion or nothing like that. But I'd get me a nice solid.
You know what I would rather do than buy a house? I would rather buy a small apartment complex or a small set of townhouses. You know how you drive down the end of college, they have those smaller, because the lots are so small, they have like those smaller, like this row townhouses is owned by one person. Like, do something like that, live in one of them and rent the rest of them out. That would be ideal for me. Because having multiple homes to rent out, that seems like a lot of extra work.
Multiple
And then
homes to rent out.
People do that. People buy multiple
That's
properties.
not what I was saying.
What are you saying?
I'm saying if I came into some money, I would buy another house, one property, to live in. Like, I'm not going to get the most expensive house, but I would get...
Well, if you came into some money, you wouldn't have to worry about a home being an investment. You just buy a house.
Exactly.
That would be nice.
And I have money to do whatever I want to do with it. So if something break, nice. I ain't got no issue with it. Hey, I need this fixed. Come take care of it. You know what I'm saying? And I think I'll be more patient to deal with it then. And we're not doing bad. You know,
we're not. And I think that is... We're just talking preference. Right, we're just talking preference. Like, nah, I don't think it's that there's not enough of a reward at the end of this for me to keep doing it, or at least for me to do it the same way. Nah, don't wanna. Yeah. And I think it was something that we came to the same page on, like around the same time. Like, why are we doing this? I don't want to do this. Like, ew. Like after we got over the initial frustration of the responsibility of homeownership, and we kind of settled into we have a good house, the mortgage is really good, just really not, but we don't want to, and like it's okay if you don't want to. We give you permission not to want to buy a house, and we also understand if you're like, yeah, that's not a bad deal, we would rather buy a house. And it's so funny because we come from homeowners. Our parents own their homes. Our grandparents own their homes. Our great-grandparents own their homes. Like, we don't, but, so that was always the goal, like, to own a house.
Yeah.
But, oh gosh, this has been long. Let me wrap this up. Hopefully I'm going to cut this out.
I've been trying to do it for two sentences. You've been going.
Oh, sorry.
I've been trying.
Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. Comment down below. Do you own a home? Do you like it? Do you still want to buy a home after all the stuff that we said? Let us know how you feel. And
again, this is not a disclaimer to discourage you. Buying a home is different.
This is a disclaimer, but this is...
yeah, you get what I'm saying. We're not trying to discourage you. It's up to you. It's your preference. We just telling you ours.
Yes. Thank you so much for watching this video.
Thank you. God bless you. Follow us on social media, Facebook and Instagram. Team Lawson on Facebook, Team Lawson 225 on Instagram. Thank you. God bless you. We love y'all. See you.